I first fell in love with design, I guess, as far back as I can remember. I remember being a child in the back seat, in my car seat, and listening to music on the radio, whatever my family was listening to, and trying to understand how people put sounds together to create a landscape and an emotional response. And before I ever played music or anything, and I don't come from a musical family at all, I was very interested in that creative aspect and in designing sound, so to speak. I guess by the time I was in elementary school, I finally got an instrument and began trying to create. But even when I was 5 years old, I would sit in my room and try to think about what I would want a song to be.
And why are you still in love with it? Why do you keep coming back to it?
I think that ultimately it's not a choice. That as an artist or someone that creates, it's not a choice that you have to make, but it's the only thing you have to do. If you have to decide whether or not you should be designing or creating, then you shouldn't be doing it necessarily. I think ultimately that design and creation isn't something that people themselves do. I think we spend most of our lives trying to figure out what the correct way to create and design something is. But ultimately, the best art and creation comes from a surrendering of the ego and self, which is trying to impose its idea on something. And when we finally surrender and realize that we need to become the vessel for creativity and art to come through, is when it manifests itself in its ultimate form and evokes the most from people and speaks to them and reaches them on a deeper level than they may not have been aware of, before experiencing that.